Welcome to our exploration of the impact of climate change on Arctic wildlife. In this video, we will delve into the profound changes occurring in the Arctic as a result of rising temperatures and melting ice. From the heartbreaking loss of polar bear habitats to the disruption of migration patterns among various species, the consequences of climate change are vast and alarming. We will also examine how these environmental shifts are affecting marine mammals, the alarming rates of extinction, and the vital ecosystems they inhabit. Join us as we uncover the urgent realities facing Arctic wildlife in a warming world. 1. Melting sea ice. The Arctic sea ice is disappearing at a pace that alarms scientists and nature enthusiasts alike. This melting is primarily driven by rising global temperatures, a direct consequence of climate change. The ice serves as a vital platform for various species, such as polar bears, seals, and walruses. These animals rely heavily on the ice for hunting, breeding, and as a resting ground. As the ice melts earlier each year and takes longer to refreeze, these creatures face longer periods without their essential habitats. The lack of a stable ice platform means that these animals have to swim longer distances, which can be both exhausting and dangerous. 2. Polar bear habitat loss. Polar bears, often seen as the emblematic species of the Arctic, are severely impacted by the loss of sea ice. They depend on this ice to hunt seals, their primary food source. With the ice retreating further each year, polar bears are forced to travel greater distances in search of food, expending more energy than they can afford. This energy depletion often results in malnutrition. Furthermore, with less access to their prey, the bear's reproductive success is compromised, as malnourished mothers struggle to rear healthy cubs. The cycle of life for polar bears is being disrupted, with fewer young surviving to adulthood. 3. Impact on marine mammals. Marine mammals such as walruses, narwhals, and beluga whales are also feeling the effects of diminishing ice. Walruses, in particular, use the ice as a resting platform after diving for food. With the ice vanishing, they are compelled to haul out on land. This leads to overcrowding on limited land spaces, increasing the risk of injuries and the spread of diseases. Narwhals and beluga whales, too, find their migratory routes and feeding grounds altered. As these species adapt to the new reality, their survival is put to the test. 4. Changing migration patterns. Many Arctic species, like the caribou and certain birds, depend on the natural rhythm of the seasons to guide their migrations. These migrations are crucial for breeding and finding food. However, climate change is throwing these patterns out of sync. Rising temperatures and changing ice covers confuse these animals, leading to mismatches between the timing of migrations and the availability of food or nesting sites. This disruption means that many species arrive too early or too late, missing the optimal conditions for survival and reproduction. 5. Melting permafrost and habitat destruction. Permafrost, the frozen ground that underpins much of the Arctic ecosystem, is thawing due to increasing temperatures. This thawing poses a significant threat to habitats, affecting species like the Arctic foxes and lemmings. As the permafrost melts, it destabilizes the vegetation that many animals rely on for food and shelter. This not only disrupts the immediate habitat but also causes a ripple effect through the food chain. When these foundational elements of the ecosystem are destabilized, it impacts the entire web of life in the Arctic. 6. Ocean acidification. The Arctic oceans are absorbing more carbon dioxide, leading to increased acidity levels. This acidification is especially harmful to marine life, particularly organisms that form shells, such as plankton. These tiny creatures are a cornerstone of the Arctic food web. As their numbers dwindle due to acidification, the entire ecosystem feels the impact. Larger species that rely on plankton for sustenance, like fish and whales, find their food sources diminishing, threatening their survival. 7. Decreased ice algae. The ice algae, which grow on the underside of sea ice, are a crucial food source for many marine species, including fish and krill. These, in turn, feed larger animals like seals and whales. As sea ice diminishes, so does the habitat for these algae, leading to a decline in their availability. This loss trickles up the food chain, affecting numerous species that rely on these algae for nutrition. The disappearance of ice algae can have profound implications for the entire marine ecosystem. 8. Risk of extinction. Many species in the Arctic are highly specialized, having evolved over millennia to thrive in their icy habitats. This specialization makes them particularly vulnerable to rapid environmental changes. Species like the Arctic fox, polar bear, and various seabirds are at a high risk of extinction if their habitats and food sources continue to degrade. The swift pace of climate change leaves little time for these creatures to adapt, threatening their very existence. Climate change is reshaping the Arctic environment, posing significant challenges to the wildlife that call it home. As sea ice retreats, food webs are disrupted, and new threats emerge. The future of these unique species hangs in the balance.